Hello, beautiful people. Hope you guys are doing well. Today, I want to talk to you about some countries you can actually put in an application for. But before putting in the application, you need to check if you meet requirements, if you have a program in a university in this particular country or countries. Okay. Now, before I talk about these countries, also understand that these same countries I'm talking about, you can move with family. Okay. Let me hold my mic. You can move with families to this particular countries, let me put it this way, but understand that proof of funds is not going to be the same in each of these countries. So there are three things you need to consider even when you come to me for one-on-one call. Okay, the details are below. I always ask for these questions: what are your credentials? How much money you have to study in that particular country? What are your educational credentials, and how many countries have you shortlisted? And then from there I will know what to tell you, because most of you do not know how much is proof of funds to study in most of these countries. But it's not a big deal. Those of you who are telling me you want to move with family, I'm going to break down and give you some countries that you can actually move with your family in 2025. But remember that the more you waste time is running. If you haven't started your application, okay, then you have to do quickly. And remember that if you keep wasting time and not applying to schools, it might not be good for you. Now, before I talk about these countries you can move with your families and the proof of funds and some little things you need to know, please always remember that you do not need to make promises to people when you are traveling. Don't make promise to anybody. That's point number one. Point number two, this is just an advice. If you have a way to use your own money to travel, fine and good. But if you do not have a way, get the money you need and travel, okay? Because no matter what, this side is always going to be better than where you are at the moment. I always say that if you do not have anything you are doing in your home country, try and leave. I always say that if you guys are 3, 4 in your family and there is one person or two people who are brighter, who cares more for the family, who are hardworking, call a roundtable meeting. Then you contribute funds like the father, the mother, and the siblings. You sit together and decide that one person should move. Give the person time, 3 to 4 years. Then while the person is moving, if there is success or progress, he can always assist the others. But do not promise people anything. You know who is serious in your family. You know what to do. So take advantage of that. Country number one that you can move with your family abroad, if you have an opportunity, or if one of you, your spouse or your husband or wife, have academic documents and you really want to move together, this country is Iceland. Now, let me tell you something that most people don't know about Iceland. Iceland is a country that is very cool, and for Iceland you have to apply for visa and then residence permit. Now, there is something. If you are applying for a school in Iceland, know that schools in Iceland are quite cheap, but note that the visa you are going to get for Iceland depends on the proof of funds. You should have at least 11,000 euros for proof of funds, at least physical cash, before you begin the application process for Iceland. This is my advice for you. And now remember, this is for you alone. If you want to move with your spouse, then you need more money, at least 3/4 of that amount. I know it is always going to be difficult moving with family, but sit down, hold a meeting and ask yourself, can we move together? Then you decide to move. Check universities in Iceland, and do not forget that University of Iceland is very cheap, but it's very competitive. There are other universities like the University of Reykjavik, Bifrost University, and so many others. So please extend your tentacles and look further, okay? Do not forget that not only Iceland can accept you with your family, you can also move to Portugal with your family. Now, I just want to inform you again that in case you haven't watched my previous videos, proof of funds to study in Portugal have increased. Now, before it used to be like 7,000, 8,000, somewhere thereabout. But right now, you are going to be needing 10,440 euros. Of course, people are asking me, Milton, can we work this out? Well, I do not know how it is worked out. You have to be careful, guys, because the more the proof of funds is increasing, the more the diplomatic mission, I mean the embassy and the visa officer and everybody, they are going to be trying to check how much money did you get in your bank account? How did you get the money? When did the money come inside? They need to check all of these details. So you have to be very, very smart when you are doing all these things. I hope you understand. You can apply for a university in Portugal, schools in Portugal are open now. Understand that you can also pay tuition in installments, so it shouldn't be a problem. Oh, if my tuition is $5,000 and they ask me to pay, what am I going to do? Just reach out to your school and tell them that you want to pay in installments and you are good to go. They will tell you what to do. If they don't tell you, because most schools in Portugal, they will always tell you that you can pay in installment. But remember, your documents must be legalized till the level of the Portuguese embassy before you can actually apply for a visa to Portugal. I hope you understand this. It is very important, and some schools, in fact 98% of universities in Portugal, will not accept your application unless you actually legalize your documents. Remember, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Foreign Affairs is authentication. Legalization is when the documents reach the embassy of that particular country. Do not forget this. It is very important. My Cameroon people who are going for bachelors, your O and A levels, confirmation must come from the GCA, but then you proceed to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I do not know how much you are going to pay. Please ask the competent authorities. D'accord. Thank you. Now let's go to the Netherlands. That is the next country you can actually move with family. As a matter of fact, I reside in the Netherlands. I study here, and I have said many times that I personally called the immigration, which is the IND, and they told me you can actually immigrate here with your family. But note that it is only your university who is going to apply for your visas. You as a student, it's only your university. My university actually did for me. Others the same thing, but if you are coming with family, they also need to agree that they will apply for your visa. Sometimes they cannot guarantee you that your spouse is going to get a visa, or your partner, or your family in general. So I will advise you now, and this is the same advice IND gave me, if your money also is not enough, because moving to the Netherlands is a whole lot of money, you should consider coming first. Then after 3 to 6 months, you can now bring your family. The application process will be done from the Netherlands. So before you move, make sure you carry your wife's or your birth certificates of your family members, and equally your marriage certificate, because that's the evidence to show that you are actually a family. I hope you understand this. Also understand that the education system here is tough, not easy, not too difficult, but smart education, very powerful, right? So degrees from here, or credentials from here, or diplomas from here are very important. So if you come here, try to study. However, if you are not financially stable, I will not advise you to move with family here, because it's going to stress you a bit, because especially if you are coming for undergraduate, because undergraduate here in most universities in the Netherlands is 3 to 4 years. Okay, some schools just 4 years, but masters is 1 year. And remember, when you finish studying the program, irrespective of the level, you are going to get what you can apply. Not like you are going to get, you have to apply for it. They call it orientation year visa, which is the job search visa. Remember, job in the Netherlands now is not getting that easy, so you really need to put in some effort in order to get job in the Netherlands. Well, the Netherlands is still a good country. Looking at the opportunities that are there, if you study here and you have the credentials, you apply for jobs, hopefully you are going to get something. I hope you understand. Now, the Netherlands is not only the only country you can apply and move with your family in Europe. You can equally move to Finland with your family. Now, the process for Finland is not that complicated, because of course you can actually see on the website that you can move with family, right? If you go to studyinfo.fi, you are going to notice that there is information there on documents, on proof of funds, how much you need per family member. As the number of family members increasing, the number of like the amount per person decreases. What I mean here is, if you have a spouse like your wife, and you want to carry your 2 children, the first child needs to be 500 times 12. It used to be, but not anymore. The details are there on studyinfo.fi. Please take a look at that website, then you thank me later. Then the second child, if the first child is 500 times 12, to get the total amount for that child, then the second child will be 400 times 12. This is before. The new proof of funds is there on studyinfo.fi. Please take a look at this platform and you thank me later. Now, remember, as an international student going to Finland, you need 9,700 euros to be in your bank account. Is it 9,700 or 9,897 to be in your bank account? Now, this only comes after you have paid your first year's tuition. Some universities will give you 20% scholarship. Others may give you 50%. Some like Eastern Finland and Turku are offering 100%. As a matter of fact, I don't know who has gotten 100% yet, but I know somebody who already got 50% with Javaxla. All right, is it Javaxkola or what's the name of that school in Finland? Well, so you should understand, if you have 50%, 100%, you still have an advantage, because what of somebody who doesn't even have? It means you have to pay 9,000 euros before you look for 9,000 plus in your bank account. Now, what if you are moving with family? You see that is a whole lot of money, guys. So please put this into consideration. Now, for Finland, you also need to legalize documents when it comes to the visa application. Your marriage certificate has to be legalized by the Finnish authorities. But before you do that, you need to first of all pass with it at the Foreign Affairs Ministry, because it must be verified at the local level before moving to the advanced level. I hope this helps you. Now, let's take a look at the next country, which is Sweden. Sweden is almost the same thing. And remember, I already did some videos. Like, if you check the channel, you are going to see videos on how to immigrate to Sweden with your family, and also the proof of funds involved. So I will not go into those details. In case you didn't know, admissions is closed now. As a matter of fact, those who are going to be moving September, October this year, their results will soon be coming out. So please, you cannot apply now. You have to wait for the next intake. Then the next country you have to move to is Austria. There are also videos on the platform. If you want to migrate to Austria with your family or alone, please check the videos I did already and make sure you follow the procedure. First, remember that for you to actually get admission in Austria, especially in state universities like Salzburg, Innsbruck, Vienna, you have to legalize your documents. When I say legalize your documents, I mean the documents have to reach the embassy. This is the process from your local level. Then the documents will undergo verification. Then they will now undergo legalization. Now, remember, this process doesn't come easy. It takes a lot of time. So I will advise you, if you didn't start the process up till now, first thing first is appointments is not even available. So I will not advise you, if you really want to move this year, to start looking at Austria now, because the process is a bit daunting and money is involved as well. Let's keep the money part aside. Is there appointment? There is no appointment to book for this legalization of documents. So please, you have to consider all these little things before you even think of moving with family to any of these countries. I always say these things. If you do not know, if you do not look for the material, if you lack information, it's going to be very difficult for you to move abroad. And do not forget that I have links below. Check the one-on-one call link if you really want to talk to me one-on-one. I hope you enjoyed this. Now, apart of Finland and of course Sweden, which other country can you move with family? Denmark. Now, international students were asking me, hey Milton, can I actually move to Denmark with my family? The answer is yes. And as a matter of fact, there is a lot of advantage. Like, there are so many advantages if you move to Denmark with your family. The first one is that there is child support. Well, child support is found everywhere in the European Union, as I can say it. And if you are going to Denmark, understand that then after your study program, you can apply for a 3 years postgraduate, stay back visa to find a job. Of course, you are going to work because there are jobs in Denmark, right? Yeah, if you, especially in the city of Copenhagen, you will always get jobs. It's like that everywhere. Bigger cities will always have jobs for international, so it's not a big deal. But know that Denmark is not that cheap. As I'm talking to you, the only schools you can apply for in Denmark right now is University of Aalborg, Roskilde, and Southern Denmark, I guess, for bachelor's programs. Master's is closed already. But again, do your due diligence and make sure the information I'm giving you is somehow right. I may be 90% right, but again, do your due diligence. I always say these things. Don't just take my information. If you take it, go to the necessary sites, check immediately before you drop any application. Now, remember, moving with family abroad is a bit daunting. To those of you who don't know, when you move abroad with your kids, if they are male and female and of certain age, they cannot use the same room or the same bed. So you have to prepare for all of these things. In some countries, they will even ask you to bring accommodation evidence or proof to show that you actually got a bigger accommodation to accommodate the family. So always put all these things together. Then ask yourself, do I really have the budget to carry out this project? Now, the last country I want to talk about is Denmark. Not Denmark, because we just talked about Denmark, Canada. And Canada, it used to be you get admissions in community college, you are going for a certificate program, or diploma program or degree program, carry your family. It used to be like that. But as I'm talking to you, Canada introduced a new law which states that if you want to move with your family now, you have to be going to a master's program or applying for a master's program or PhD program. Okay, so now it's a bit complicated, and most people cannot go again because to get admissions for masters alone in universities is going to be very difficult. And sometimes, even if when you get admission, the program you are trying to apply for might not even be able to get you a post-graduation work permit. Yeah, there are so many things that have changed in Canada right now, and as an international student looking forward to study abroad, you need to know this. Okay, if you really don't want headache too much, avoid certain things now and focus on where the possibility, because as time is going, nobody is waiting for you. Things are changing, guys. Yeah, things are changing. So these are some few countries you should check if you want to study abroad in 2025. 2025, it's not late, but you have to be fast. You have to be fast, guys. I keep reminding you, you have to be fast. We meet again in another one. Bye bye.